I'm Drew Kessler, and I'm a member of the Rotary Club of North Rockland. Although the Rotary experience may begin with our local clubs, it certainly doesn't have to end there. As Rotarians and Rotaractors, we have access to numerous membership benefits provided by Rotary International to enhance our experience beyond the club. Here are just a few.
As Rotary members, we're known for making a positive impact in our communities. To help our club projects be successful, Rotary offers a variety of resources, from community assessment tools and evaluation guides to accessing experts who can help plan and implement effective projects. There are also online and in-person opportunities to locate project partners, and if you need funding, the Rotary Foundation offers grants to make your projects possible. To expand our reach, it's important to promote our projects as well as our clubs. And the Brand Center makes that easy to do by providing a library of customizable materials like brochures, logos, and ads. Because the more we can promote Rotary, the more we can inspire others to join our efforts to do good in the world. Many members value professional development. Through the Learning Center, you can take free online courses to develop new skills and expand your knowledge on a variety of topics, many specifically designed just for members. As part of a global network, it's easy for us to build friendships with people from all over the world. By joining a Rotary Fellowship, you can connect with members who share your interests and hobbies. Or you can share your expertise and profession as part of a Rotary Action Group. And if you're interested in building international understanding, you can take part in friendship exchanges, where members take turns hosting one another in their homes. You can also get involved in our youth programs like Interact, Youth Exchange, and Rotary Youth Leadership Awards to help guide the next generation of leaders. Lastly, Rotary's International Convention is a unique and memorable experience you don't want to miss. Every year, thousands of members from all over the world gather in a different city to network and learn from thought leaders, experts, and activists. And so can you.
There's so much more to learn about our member benefits, so I encourage you to create an account on myrotary.org and begin making the most of your Rotary membership. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the 2024 Virtual Club Workshop that we are happy to be supporting you from. We have a full team here at the district office in Beaverton, but the real work is going to be done and the attraction is going to be taking place in your individual pods. We thank you for participating and giving up an important part of the weekend so that you can learn more about what it means to be in a virtual club. Virtual, vibrant, what does all of that mean? Well, it's membership, it's the Rotary Foundation public image, and it's the relationships that you are building in your pods right now. It's coming together, and all of this will form a vibrant and engaging club experience. So we thank you for participating with us. And what I'd like to do now is talk a bit more about some of the other activities that are going on. And many of you have already signed in for Slido, and the participant code is on the screen. So thank you very much for participating. As we go through this, you will see us asking questions, and then your responses will be updated automatically on the screen that we will be able to share with you. And a little housekeeping information here. We would like you to pin the district office video in your Zoom, and please mute during the presentations. And for Zoom, we would ask that pod scribes add collective responses to the chat in the breakouts in Zoom. This way we will be able to keep track of those comments that will then be sent back to you later on. In Slido, individuals can add to breakout polls, and we ask you to use the Q&A in Slido to ask speakers questions. We will then use these questions and comments to get speakers answering the questions that come from the remote locations. In the Zoom chat and Slido, we will be monitoring these all through the session and then reporting back to you as we go. There will be breakouts during each of the presentations. And during these breakouts in your pod locations, we will set you some specific questions, and then you will have an opportunity to discuss those in your pods. Also, between our various segments, we will have breaks that will be 10 minutes in length, followed by an up to 3-minute video that will then call us back into our group together. So, thank you again for participating. I'm Gary Stewart. I am the Learning and Development Chair for District 5100. You will also be hearing shortly from Suzanne Holmberg, who is our District Governor-elect, as well as membership coordinators from Rotary International, John Chase and Corey Lepardi. Past District Governor Renee Campbell will also be with us talking about the Rotary Foundation. And Brandon Peterson and Renee Fontenot will be talking about public image and how all of these elements pull together to create a vibrant club. So, with that in mind, I'm happy to introduce to you a story. What is your story? Your Rotary story.
So what is your story? Think about it for a moment. Storytelling is an important part of attracting new members, sharing our giving, and promoting Rotary internally and externally. I'm Suzanne Holmberg, District Governor-elect, and it is my pleasure to serve with you during the Rotary year 2025-26. I am thrilled to welcome you all to this workshop today. This gathering is not just an opportunity to learn, but also a chance to connect and to grow. As we embark on this journey of knowledge and skill building, I encourage you to fully engage, ask questions, share your insights, and take this opportunity to collaborate with each other. The topics we will cover today are vital to the success and the future of our district. And I would like to thank all of our volunteers to make this day happen. And I would like to thank all of you for being here today, to share part of your weekend with us and your leadership in Rotary. Remember, the strength of Rotary in our district lies in the expertise and passion you all bring to the table. So let's get started. Please remember to change your name in your pods, so all the areas to area names, and people who attend virtually, please rename yourself to your name and then virtual. That will help us to identify yourselves. And with that, we would like to get started, and it's my pleasure to introduce our first session leaders, John Chase and Corey Lopardi, Rotary International Coordinators. Corey, John, take it away. Thank you.
Thanks, Suzanne. And we're very happy to be here today to talk to you about club membership action plans. Again, I am Corey Lopardi. I am the Rotary Coordinator for Zone 27. And I'm joined today by John Chase, who's going to kick things off.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And you are absolutely all the authors of your own story. I appreciated that video. And we're going to weave a little membership into that tapestry this afternoon or this morning. I'm coming to you from Las Vegas. And like you, I'm a Rotary member, a volunteer, given of my Saturday morning just to share a little bit about membership and learn from all of you as we share some information. The agenda. Corey, do you got the PowerPoint up there?
I do not see our slides being shared, John.
Okay, well, I'm just going to go while they get that brought up, and I'll keep on going. So our agenda today is we're going to talk a little bit about club action plans. What is an action plan, and how important is that to our efforts as club leaders? We're going to talk about the attraction, the onboarding, and the engagement, the three pieces that we think are super important in that membership process. And then we're going to wrap things up with some question and answer. So first off, what is why a club action plan? Next slide, please. We believe, and I think we all can agree that leaders that are focused on growing their clubs see better results. And it doesn't just have to be Rotary clubs, right? If we want to grow a portion of our business, we need a plan to do that. It doesn't happen in a vacuum or by happenstance. So clubs that have an action plan that works certainly has the propensity to be more vibrant. Membership growth is the byproduct of being a great club, and we see those results often. We also know that what has our attention often grows. So we need to share that with our members and share the excitement of membership, and we need to celebrate our successes with our members. The action plan itself is a four-step process, and you can see those on the slide. First off, we need to use meaningful data to inform our goals, just like our business, like I mentioned before. If we want to grow our business, we need data to substantiate or to track our progress. We need to survey our club members to determine their needs and wants. Do they want to grow? Are they prepared to grow? Is our club in a position to grow? Do we need to look at a new venue if we're already maxed out on capacity? All those types of things need to be brought into consideration. Develop a plan that's got clear priorities. We assign ownership to different tactics and timelines, and we measure results, just like in our business. And then we monitor and manage and maybe even modify if need be. Those are four of the parts that we think a vibrant club can learn from, and it's important to track those results. So meaningful data. First off, there's a report called the Attrition and Attraction Report, or the Goal Setting Worksheet. And you could get that from Suzanne or your district membership chair or your current governor as well. Corey and I also have access to those as well. So we want to take a look at the club's attrition and attraction data that is done on a monthly basis, and it's available to all of you. And you can find it also on DACDB or Club Runner. We got to verify against club membership profile in the Rotary Club Central. So in other words, we want to get the information, then we want to just verify everything's correct and we're in agreement and it's in alignment with other pieces of information that's out there. And then we want to determine and agree upon that average attrition rate, because sometimes that attrition rate might be a little bit different, right? If we purge our books because we've taken out a few people that might not attend regularly, that could cause some deviation in that attrition report. Also, COVID had an impact a few years ago. So let's go to the next slide. We're going to look at example one, and this is the top portion of that goal setting worksheet. And some of you, or many of you, may have seen this already, but these are done specifically for your club and are available. The first number up there is the attrition report. So what that really is the rate in which people are leaving your club. That's followed by the attraction rate, which is conversely the rate in which people are coming into your club, and then that gives you a net growth rate. So one of the things that we like to point out is the average attrition rate in North America is about 15%, and we should be tracking about 5% above our attrition rate. So our attraction rate should be about 5% above the attrition rate if we want to see growth at the end of the year. So this here club has got a net growth rate that is in the red. So they're losing members on a slow decline, about 1.3% average per year. So next slide's got a little more of an aggressive example where this group here is losing at a much faster rate. They're losing at 22.4% and they're attracting at 10.4%. So what does this tell me? It tells me that they have an attrition issue that could be turned into an opportunity. So we need to look at how we are engaging our members, and are we doing that in a meaningful way? Or maybe we're not onboarding in an appropriate manner, and we're not letting people know exactly what the expectations of membership in our Rotary Club is, and thus they are leaving. Rotary International inducts or clubs induct about 150,000 members a year into Rotary International, and nearly 10%, 15,000, leave in the same year that they're inducted. So we got to work on that here specifically in North America, where we've seen a decline for the last 20 or so years. So this club is losing about 12% a month. So this is the bottom half of that goal setting worksheet. The bottom, next slide, please. The bottom half of the goal setting worksheet, and this is where that percentage, that attrition rate, is turned into an actual number. So on the right side, the goal setting, you can see here that this club had 41 members on July 1, and let's say they want to get to 45. The current, when this report was pulled on February 1st, was 38 members, but let's say they're July 1, at the end of the year, they want to get to 45, so they want to grow by 4 members. So they're at 41 July 1. Their goal in Rotary Club Central, they entered is 45. So they want to grow by 4, but they lose 6 members a year is their average attrition rate over the last 3 years. So they would need a net increase of 10 new members to get that gain of 4 that they're looking for. So let me just kind of run through that one more time real quick, but we'll do another example here in a little bit. So step 2, survey members. So we don't want to do this in a vacuum as a board. We don't want to just roll out into a meeting and say we're going to grow our club and the board made the decision. We want our members on board with that. So we need to survey them, and there's some ways to do that. Member assessment tools are available, and Rotary Health Club health checks are just 2 excellent examples that are out there. And members need to have a voice in this process. So we want to make sure that they get their buy-in and that they're on board. And we want to utilize some of those well-tested tools that Rotary has to do that. So step 2, survey our members, and step 1, again, meaningful data. Step 3 is to start developing that plan. So we want to utilize that data to set a current year membership growth. We want to identify primary areas of focus, and then we want to develop tactics to increase the efficacy in each area. And we're going to talk about that and show you what that sample plan looks like here in just a moment. So again, we're looking at that data piece. This club here has a current membership of 95. They want to get a goal of 100 by the end of the Rotary year, so they want to grow by 5. They have an average attrition rate of 15. So we need a net gain of 20 members to grow by 5 for this larger club. For clubs in this situation, it's often better just to break that down and say we need, maybe 2 members per month, or a little bit more than 1 member per month, rather than coming out on August or July 1st and saying we're going to grow by 20 members. That can seem a bit daunting. So breaking it up and just in a little bite-sized chunks, 1 per month, or 2 per month, seems a little more palatable for most folks. And again, we want to do that in a meaningful way by attracting new members, onboarding them in a meaningful way, and engaging them. Next slide. So this is a snapshot of the plan, and we've got a PDF fillable that we can put in chat here in just a few minutes if you don't have it already. But the first part is attracting new members. We need to identify people that are in alignment with our core values. And as the last slide said, we wanted to make sure that we do so in a meaningful way. So let's say we want to attract corporate members. So we're going to assign somebody. Let's say Corey is going to be assigned to reach out to our Chamber of Commerce and talk a little bit to them about corporate membership opportunities that Rotary has, and he's going to do that before the next board meeting. So that would be one tactic that we might try under the attracting new members. On the onboarding, maybe we need to review our Red Badge program. Maybe that's been the same Red Badge program since Paul Harris, and it's time to maybe do a little bit of updating on that. So we're going to assign Nancy to that, and she's going to report back after talking to some of her peers in her West region there or something that indicates how they onboard, and then just come back to the board with some ideas by October 1st or something. And lastly, the engage and retention piece, and we'll assign a tactic there. And we're going to go into each one of these areas in detail over the next few minutes. Next, please. So again, here's a step 4 is that monitor and manage. This is the opportunity really to go back and just take a look at and make sure that we're on target and on track. So we want to launch the action plan. We assess on a monthly basis, and we adapt, refine, and respond and modify if need be. And we want to make sure that we are celebrating our successes and making a big deal out of it. If we got to grow by 20 members, maybe we even have a little thermometer that shows our progress each month, how we're getting closer and closer to that goal.
All righty. Thanks, John. Now we're going to talk a bit about attracting new members. Next slide. So we'd like to hear where your members are coming from. So go ahead and use this Slido app to let us know. It looks like we've got the same screen as before. Here we go. All right, from networking, referrals, invites, and local businesses. Ah, that networking is getting bigger. Word of mouth. Okay. Community service projects, I see that in there, local businesses.
I love how all this corresponds with our businesses, Corey, because it's not much different than growing our business, is it?
It is not. It is not. The same way we connect in business, we connect in Rotary. All right. So it looks like word of mouth, networking, invites, guest speakers. These are all great ways to connect to people. Okay, so let's look at the next slide. Now, there are 2 ways to attract people to our clubs. Recruiting involves actual strategic planning around intentional outreach, and we heard a little bit about that in our Slido. But being vibrant or irresistible club is all about creating a place where your members are excited and are naturally compelled to invite others to join. And when they come, they see something that's intriguing, that they want to be a part of. So as you've heard earlier, in order to keep up with your club's attrition, you always have to be recruiting and attracting. So during this portion of the presentation, we're going to focus on the recruiting part, and then we'll be discussing being a vibrant club in the last second of our presentation. Next slide. So it's important when you're looking to recruit members into your club that you understand your club's essence. Let's look at 3 different clubs and how they might recruit different types of people. So Club A focuses on business networking and social events. They include Rotary partners and spouses at their events. They are purposeful in seeking a diverse membership base and are very intentional about creating an inclusive environment. Their service primarily consists of an annual fundraiser where they support a local community organization. Now, Club B is service first. Sure, they write some checks, but they are hands-on first. You'll find them out in the community once a month, focused on food insecurity. They do fellowship through service, and they make sure that each service event is a family of Rotary event. They're intentional about creating project chair and committee chair opportunities in their service projects so their members can practice and hone their leadership skills. Now, Club C has embraced the new Toastmasters series, we're still on the same slide, in Rotary's Online Learning Center. They've implemented a program where their members develop and give presentations about their vocations. Leadership emphasizes integrity through their bi-weekly meeting 4-way test spotlight series, and the club has an annual fundraiser that provides a lot of capital for projects. They've been very active both globally and locally in their grants. So one of the biggest challenges for clubs is trying to be all things to all people. When you know the why of your club, that's the first key to effective recruiting. Next slide. So public image campaigns can be a key part of a club's recruiting plan. Campaigns like the You Belong Here campaign that targeted reconnecting with past Rotarians is a great way to bring people to Rotary. So in this campaign, they used public image branding and storytelling online, along with booths at events where their target demographic would be. Okay. Another thing to look at when putting together recruiting strategies is if your club has membership options that make it easier to afford your club dues. Using creative club structures, dues, and meeting times can go a long ways to attracting new club members to your club. Now, there are many tools that are produced by Rotary International that can be used to help clubs attract and recruit members. Tools like creating a positive experience for new members, the corporate member guide or satellite guide, as well as many of the sessions on the Rotary International Learning Center that are beneficial to clubs who want to be strategic in their recruiting of new members. Now we're going to give you some time to work in groups on your membership action plan in the attracting new members section. So that's the top section there in the example. And you're going to want to look at a tactic that you might implement, who will be responsible for that tactic, when you might launch that, and think as many tactics as you can. Next slide. So some discussion questions to consider is how might you influence your members to place the right amount of emphasis on attraction? What tools might you utilize to make your community aware of Rotary and your club? And what positive examples of club attraction can you share? So we're going to take about 10 minutes to work on this and discussing in your groups. So let's go to breakout.
Oh, actually, maybe I can do that, right? I can't open a classroom. You can put them all in one.
All righty. Well, I wasn't able to hear what was going on in your breakouts, but clicking through it looked like there was a lot of conversation, and that is great. I see a table booth at street markets and city events. I see youth exchange brought in several members. Um, Service was the big aha moment that comes out of this. Um, and maybe somebody needed to update their marketing materials, which is always a good thing to look at, especially from a public image standpoint. Meet with Toastmasters, okay. Service at meetings. Tracking sheets, yes, tracking your leads is super important. Updating marketing materials. All right, and we're seeing more and more of these coming in. We're going to collect these because this is great information. I am just curious if there were one or two questions that might have come from the pods that I could address at this point. Surveying is a big one that came out, so that is great. And that there are similar club issues across the district. Yeah, we do tend to see similar issues across districts, and then across the zone pair, we definitely see groupings of things that clubs can do to overcome challenges and things that clubs are doing well. And we try to collect those as maybe not best practices, but recommended practices, right, John?
Yeah, better practices for sure. Follow up, look at there. Follow up is one of the key things. We absolutely agree. Follow up is crucial.
All righty. Well, now I'm going to hand it back over to John there to talk about some onboarding.
Yeah, so we know onboarding is super important. Think for a moment, if you can, about your own onboarding experience. How was that? Was it a good experience? Did your club do a great job of welcoming you in, or did they just do a quick orientation or a quick induction ceremony, and you're on your own to figure that out? And it really kind of runs that spectrum. But what we know from looking at and studying vibrant clubs is that clubs that do it well and onboard people in a meaningful way see results of retention and engagement that last for years. So there's three phases to that onboarding process that we want to take a deeper dive on. One is value alignment. And we're going to take a deeper dive into each one of these here in a little bit. But the second is that induction ceremony and how you do that. And then the third is the rest of that onboarding process. So let's go to the next slide and talk a little bit about value alignment. This is taking the time to discern what's motivating your prospective member. Why are they in front of you talking about Rotary in the first place? And what are they looking for? Are they a good fit for our club? And gosh, we don't do this often enough, but maybe they're a better fit for a club down the road. And if they're not good fit for you, how many of us know somebody that might be a great fit for our club, but they work during lunch and they cannot get away, but we don't refer them often enough to another club. So that value alignment interview can kind of bring some of that around. Discerning what their specific interests are so we can channel them in the right direction and get them engaged quickly. So let's talk about some sample value alignment questions. And I almost look at this as a first date. When we think about our spouses, we didn't ask them to join our family the first time we met them in the restaurant or the parking lot, wherever it might be that we met our spouse. We had some questions and we had some interviews and we talked to them and went out for dates and made sure that they were a good fit for us and for our family, and that we were a good fit for them and they were a good fit for us. But so tell me a little bit about yourself personally and professionally. What are you doing? How can Rotary maybe help you move that needle where you're at? How did you find us? How did you learn about Rotary in the first place? And something I've heard this last week, probably 3 or 4 times, Corey, I think, was my mom or my dad or my grandma or grandpa was a member of Rotary, and I want to honor their legacy by being a member. And that's been a theme, Corey and I've heard repeatedly this week. What is appealing about Rotary? What do you find attractive about our club? Is it our service projects? Is it our focus? What are your expectations? And then, it's just like anything else, that pause in silence and then ask them what else, what else do they want from the club? and then what else and what else, kind of take a deeper dive into what their true expectations are, and can we deliver upon them in an impactful way to meet their service needs. And what, after all, the whole role of our club really is to serve our members in their journey of service to our community. So that's what we're there for. So if we ended up deciding that Rotary is a good fit, where do you see it a year from now? What would you want it to look like? What would your experience have been for the past year? How do you think you would contribute to the club's success? What do you have to bring to the table for our club as a whole? Not only do we want to meet your needs, but we want you to help us move the needle. We want to grow our club so we can serve others, not necessarily just to grow our numbers and manage expectations. And this is really important. Sometimes money can be an issue. And is your club flexible with that? Do they have alternate meeting opportunities? Is it really what they want? What's their time commitment? Do they have a talent that could be valuable to the club? And if so, what is that? And if not, maybe there's another club that they could fit that we could help them with. Okay, next slide, please. So let's talk a little bit about onboarding. So the next slide talks about the feel of value. We really got to make sure early on in year one that it's critical they feel like their time is being used and it's valuable and it's making a difference. Remember I mentioned earlier 10%, nearly 15,000 Rotarians leave in that first year because they don't have that stickiness factor. They don't feel like they need to stick around. They don't feel like they bring value to the club, and we're not bringing value and delivering value to them. We're not meeting their expectations that was done in that alignment interview. Oftentimes, it's better if they come in with a friend, or if they don't join with a friend, that they find a friend pretty quickly in the club, and that increases that stickiness as well. We want to make sure that they have somebody that they can connect with and serve in Rotary with. And increase on that fellowship. We know those of us that have been around for a while stick around really because of service and fellowship, and that is critical. So there's two different schools of thought here. One is that orientation process, and then the second is more of an onboarding. So let's look at orientation. Orientation is often a one-time event. So we usually sometimes some clubs call it a fireside chat, where they just kind of give an overview. They talk about the role and your roles and the various roles in Rotary. Classroom style, so much like your pods are set up today, where we might do it by PowerPoint, or we might have a conversation with some snacks or something. We look at big picture stuff. What's Rotary doing on a grander scale? And are you ready to join the club? Is it right for you? And the onboarding is ongoing. It's not a one-time event. It's a process that really never ends, quite honestly. I still feel like I'm onboarding with new changes in presidents and new roles that I serve in Rotary, and each one brings about different opportunities, and I have to do an onboarding. When Corey and I became Rotary coordinators, we had to figure out the onboarding process and work through that.
I'm gonna ride my bike, I guess.
The role in the club and on the job type training.
There.
So sometimes we learn on the job, don't we? And we have to try and figure things out. And specific to the member, we got to meet our members where they're at in their journey, service journey. And it's important that we do that. If we just treat everybody as one, we're going to lose folks along the way. So we got to make sure it's beneficial to them and that we're meeting the needs and putting them in a position that they want, not one that they are absolutely uncomfortable with. And then we got to be ready, make sure everybody's ready to contribute. So here's some different onboarding ideas. One is a welcome video. So this club does a quick welcome video introducing the new member, and it's a nice job to spotlight them on social media and put them front and center, makes them feel special, and it brings recognition to what's important to them, some of their core values, and lets them know that they're in alignment with Rotary. The second is take the Rotary Basics course. There is a ton of information on the Learning Center. As a matter of fact, I was just looking at the Learning Center before I joined the call this morning, and I was interested in, I don't know too much about Rotaract, and so I wanted to get more informed, maybe onboarded is the word, on Rotaract, to try and figure out what the heck is going on with Rotaract. I know it's a struggle now that billing is going on, so I spent some time on the Learning Center looking at those opportunities this morning. Ask them to like the club and district on and other international or Rotary International websites, maybe Foundation. Drew, who was on the video earlier, has his own Facebook page, and as does the zone pair that he has on the West Coast or East Coast, excuse me. So having those connections, keeping Rotary top of mind is important. If you have a mentoring program, make sure they're doing check-ins on a regular basis. Discuss experiences, ask for feedback, and discuss open jobs. There's talk about there, the video up there, or the picture says help wanted. What positions are available that are in alignment with what this new member wants to do? Again, send a list of other suggested Learning Center courses. One club does a new member dinner. So about 6 months into it, they invite the new member over and their mentor, and they have a dinner and just talk about it with the club president. What's going on in the club? How can we help you? How's the journey so far? Are we meeting your needs? Or do we need to make some sort of a pivot and make some sort of change to accommodate that membership experience, that club experience for them? And ask for feedback, recommendations, and get that from the mentor as well. Don't leave them hanging. What they hear is important. They got to feel plugged in and engaged. So the onboarding goals on the next page talk about that. There's an orientation. There's a discovering the needs. Again, that's where the mentor or the club president or the membership chair, whoever it might be in your club, is identifying what's important to them and making sure we connect them with what's important and valued. Assign a mentor. If you don't have a mentoring program, I would encourage you to take a look at that. They've got some outstanding courses in the Learning Center, and they can guide you through that process. And then lastly, as time evolves, like all of us, probably we have a lot of friends that are Rotarians, and we just would feel like we missed something if we didn't join them at the meeting and hear what's going on with them and their family and their work and their pets and everything else. So it's a process, and those are our goals along that path. Next is the onboarding tools, and we've talked, and these are all quick and easy to find, and they're on the Zone website. They're at Rotary International's website, and you could just Google them by name. But introducing new members to Rotary is one of them. Rotary Basics, we've talked about. Connecting for Good was one that our Zone pair did a few years ago, and I think in 2018. Are just a few of them. And there's also one that's a new member interest survey that's pretty awesome. And there are clubs that actually give that out to their members, and the president collects them just so they can get a better idea of what is of interest to their members. And they do that on a frequent basis because, every couple of years, because our interests sometimes change, don't they? If I went from one career to another, my interests may change. If I retired and my time becomes freer, I might have a pivot in some interests. If I have grandkids, that could change, and my service journey might change to where I can be serving inclusive with my family members rather than missing out on something when they're home and I'm serving in a different capacity. So now we're going to do the breakout again, and we're going to talk really about that onboarding process, and we want you to take a deeper dive of what that looks like in your clubs and within your pods there. And one example that we put on this form is review the Red Badge program. Is it still relevant? And we assigned Bill to that, and he's going to report back at the August meeting. This was done, obviously, before August. But that's just one example, and there's room for several of them, and we want to just hear a plethora of ideas. And a couple of the discussion question is, what was your personal experience when you joined your club? What more could have been done to enhance your experience? And then the question 2 on that next slide is, what are some innovative onboarding ideas that enhance the member experience and enhance member participation? Maybe you could include their family members and make them feel special and part of that process. I was talking to a club in Texas, or a district in Texas, and they have a new member induction where they all create almost like a wedding receiving line, and they play some background music, and everybody walks to the front, shakes the new member's hand, and introduces themselves personally. And they take a few minutes to do that because it's important that they feel welcomed. And what's the best practices? What best practices that would enable you to enable the sustainability of your onboarding process for your club to make sure it stays and it's relevant and it moves forward? So those are the questions. Let's go back into our pods and our breakout rooms and take about 10 minutes to look at them.
Okay, we should all be back.
Yeah. Well,
Seeing
we had
some
a
good there,
lot of
John.
good, yeah, a lot of good comments here. That passport's pretty popular, and I'm going to send some of the information over to Diane on that so she can get that out to the members, Corey. And how was the discussion in your room? Pretty vibrant over in ours.
You know, I can't hear any of the discussion, but I can see a lot of discussion going on in the pods. They all look very, very active. I was trying to choose the one I thought would be the best one for me to sit in, and I gotta say, Salem, I think, might have some candy or chocolates on their table, and that would have to be the one for me if that's what they got there. So,
Yep. The chocolate did not make the list there, Corey, but having a friendly environment and coaching, I see.
Right. Chocolate,
Drink.
wine, beer, any of those three will probably help onboard most of your new members. So,
Yeah.
hey, I see chocolate. So there we
Okay,
go.
perfect. Ice cream socials, somebody does their fun inductions. Who put fun inductions and what's that mean for your club? Because every club experience is a little different. I'd be interested to hear what a fun induction looks like.
Yeah, yeah. So we do have some time to take questions if the pods had any questions. Oh, I see one of the pods going around. They've got a whole buffet table at Central Valley North. So they didn't want to be bested by Salem. They've got to show that off in their video. So if you use your virtual hand, I know that they can address your question that your pod might have. But I'm not seeing any virtual hands.
This is like an auction. Nobody wants to move. Corey,
Yeah.
they might bid on something, I guess.
I am happy to move on to engagement then, John.
Yeah, perfect.
As soon as we advance a couple of slides here, there we go. Well, nope, let's go back one. So in this segment, we're shifting gears, and rather than reviewing the data around why members leave, and I know that's one of the questions that came up through the chat, and we'll address that a little bit, but rather than simply sharing ideas, we're going to share with you evidence of what growing clubs are doing to engage their membership based upon a recent survey conducted with high growth clubs in North America and Canada. So led by the Zones 28 and 32 analytics team, this survey was designed to follow up on the 2021 survey completed on clubs that grew during the pandemic. And we all know that was a challenging time. So in this study, we focused on clubs that had demonstrated a successful long-term growth. We believe that the validity of these results is strengthened by the wide diversity of club sizes and types. As long as leaders act, plan, and focus, the number of members in your club doesn't have to stop you from growing. And this is shown in the distribution of club sizes represented in the surveys. And you can see there's a good mix of small clubs, medium clubs, and large clubs. So from this data, we recognize that first and most importantly, strong leaders create strong clubs. More than this, leaders surveyed of the surveyed clubs focused on 4 key attributes, which we will explore in more detail. So active, intentional member engagement, basically a healthy, engaged, and inspired membership is key to success. Dynamic, meaningful service, meaning engaged members keep busy doing throughout the year. Outstanding government. Clubs are well organized, they plan, set goals, and have continuity in their leadership. And strong public image. Clubs aren't just doing, they're being seen doing. And now, why not all leaders focused equally on all 5 areas, most clubs take all of these areas very seriously. So one of the presidents from our 2021 study said, nobody wants to come to a dull meeting, and I agree with that. And this study confirms the important role meetings play in ensuring engaged membership. But these clubs have meetings with a purpose, to strengthen their relationships, to learn together, and to engage with each other in service. Meetings are consistent yet flexible. Clubs have a process for engaging, supporting, and onboarding new members, and they understand the importance of saying thanks.
Corey, we got somebody asking if these slides could be shared on the main screen, so it might be a little small in the pods.
Okay.
I don't know who's managing that, but
that is probably a branded thing. Okay. So these clubs meet regularly and are flexible in their approach, and nearly 30% of these growth clubs have created a satellite club as an alternative experience for prospective Rotarians. Successful clubs make service a dynamic center of their activities. They are actively engaged in projects and fundraisers and make it a priority to include community members in those activities. More importantly, and as we will see, they make service an ongoing year-round priority. So having a signature service project and doing more than just a couple service projects a year helped in keeping members engaged. And we can't emphasize strongly enough how important the act of reaching out to the broader community is to creating the perception of a dynamic, attractive, and welcoming group of people. As a quote from the survey, it really is the secret sauce, creating opportunities to engage and inspire not yet Rotarians. So that secret sauce is reaching out to the community and being known. So public image also played a key role in club growth. It's not just doing, it's being seen doing, as I said before. And these clubs focused on telling stories that would attract new members. 95% of these clubs were active on Facebook as well as Instagram, and the majority had a website that had been updated to be brand compliant, and just over half were getting their stories out in the local media. So now we're going to look at a club that has been using the elements of a membership action plan to great success for many years. So in 2016, the Rotary Club of Redmond in District 5110, just down the road from most of you, had 15 members and almost disbanded. But one member had joined, had joined a year earlier, and as he got more involved with the club, he noticed that as members were regularly joining the club, they often left shortly after that. He approached the club as the president-elect, and he asked if they could look at how they brought members in and what they could do to retain existing members. They asked current members and past members about their experiences, and they did some visioning to see how they could move forward intentionally. They recreated the Rotary Club of Redmond handbook as a tool, and they instituted a policy where the membership chair phones every prospective member first and thanks them for their interest in joining the club. So only the membership chair or the president can invite members to join, and they meet with each potential member to have a conversation about their belief that the club's responsibility is to find a need in the community that will fulfill the passion of the new member. They explain that it's a symbiotic relationship with the member in the club, and they tell them up front if the club and the member aren't a good fit, then the club isn't for them, and they suggest another club to join. They brought back their club newsletter, and they publish it regularly to let both club members and people in the community know what's going on in the club. And they publicize new members that join on in meetings and on social media so that people in the community know who the Rotary Club of Redmond members are. They recognize members' accomplishments as well as others in the community, and they even created a humanitarian award so that they could recognize those community members. They updated their club website and posted social media on the site regularly. They've also created videos for all their meetings and events so that people can see what happens rather than just reading about it. And they promote their practice of being diverse and inclusive, as shown in this image of their members that they posted to their social media during the International Women's Day, where they pointed out all the female members that they had in the club. And, they have focused on attraction each year to make sure that they're outpacing their attrition numbers. They have now gone from a club of 15 members in 2016 to a club of 73 members today, with year-over-year growth since they instituted these changes. And the retention of new members has also been great. In fact, in 2021 and last year, they had 100% retention of new members. So there are many tools that RI has put out that can help with an engagement portion of your membership action plan. The Rotary Club Health Check, the Membership Exit Survey are just a couple, as well as articles and sections on Rotary when you look at engagement. So now you're going to have a chance to work at the engagement and retain portion of your plan. And some questions to consider. on the next slide, are based upon your observations. What actions can your club take to improve member engagement and satisfaction? And how could you champion these ideas and encourage support in your club? So now we have time for another breakout. Let's go to it.
Ice cream socials is showing up again, Corey.
Yeah. And the satellite conversation created satellite groups as a topic.
Yep. Project cohorts is interesting.
Yeah.
Rotary basics, inclusion is important for sure.
I like that succession plans.
Yeah. Continuity is so important.
It really is. It really is. And setting expectations.
Yeah, and we talked a little bit about repeatable processes in our group as well, which is important. Flexible dues structure is super important.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some clubs, your traditional Rotary clubs have sometimes a flexible dues structure. I was at the Rotary Club of Claremont, and they have a full meal price, and they have a coffee and dessert price if you just want the sweets. So, trying to accommodate those folks that don't want to spend the money for a full meal and still join the lunch club. Yeah, lots of great ideas.
Lots of great ideas.
Improve social media, and that goes back to what we talked about all along, right? We got to be intentional with our posts and with our public image. We got to be brand compliant, all those types of things. And the zone just did or is it coming up, Corey? The public image training. I think they just had it actually.
I think they just had it actually.
Yeah. So watch the zone website for future opportunities. Let's see. Yeah, so Hillsboro's got a flexible option, $5 for a cookie and no lunch, or $20 for lunch. It really boils down. We all got to pay a fee, don't we, to utilize these facilities, and we should all have a little skin in that game. So being flexible to meet the needs of your members is super important. And quite honestly, a lot of folks just don't want a full meal anymore. So, all right. Anybody have any questions before we move on to the next portion? We're going to talk about, I think we can go on here. So let's just kind of recap real quick. We've got a few more minutes left. We talked a little bit about attraction and attracting the right people and making sure that we get the right people on the bus and that we're the right club and they're the right member and our service and core values are in alignment is so important. And if not, the results can really be pretty predictable. And then we talked about onboarding in a meaningful way, and I'm always reminded by Mark Maloney, one of our past Rotary International presidents, and he talked about the fact, and this goes as well with engagement, that we got to really create an environment where our families can serve alongside us and not our service at the expense of our families. So we really got to create that alignment where young professionals can join Rotary and serve with their families in our service projects, and we can grow as a Rotary family in an intentional manner. So those three areas are really the key components for membership growth, and we spent some time talking about each of those and gave you the plan. So the next step really is to take these ideas and this plan back to your club, fine tune it with your committee and your board. And we talked about that 4-step process. So make sure you're getting input from others and moving forward in an intentional manner. You want to identify responsible parties to complete each action. So we need to assign these and, take a hard look at that. I know, I guess I'm just estimating that most of our clubs have a handful of folks that do most of the work. That seems to be the common denominator in Rotary. And we want to kind of spread beyond that and get everybody engaged and make sure everybody's got a role in this process and got their hands kind of in the cookie jar when it comes to growing our club in an intentional manner. We got to communicate the plan and we got to get agreement, right? We don't want to just come back and say, hey, I'm the president-elect and next year, by gosh, we're gonna grow our club if we do it with everybody kicking and screaming. That's not the intent, nor is it the plan. We want to make sure everybody's in agreement and that our club is willing to accept them. And I heard accept new members, and I heard that a little bit in some of the chat rooms where maybe the club wasn't quite ready to welcome folks, and it wasn't the right time for them. They had to do a little work in house, and there's some assessment tools that can help us with that. And then we want to assess monthly progress, and we want to celebrate those. We really got to keep Rotary top of mind for folks, not only on a weekly basis, but in our newsletter and in our social media posts. We want to constantly remind them of the importance of doing more service in our community, and we do that with a few more hands at the kitchen table or the Rotary table. And then we need to adapt, refine, and respond to our plan. And your district membership, Chair Dwayne, is and Suzanne and your entire governor line are excellent resources for that process of growing your club in an intentional manner. And don't overlook them. And if kind of the breakdown, we usually talk about this a little bit before, is the district supports the clubs, the zone. Corey and I are here to support your districts in that membership arena, and we're certainly willing to do that at any point in time, like we're doing this morning. Next slide, please. So now's a chance. We got a couple minutes for any questions. If anybody has any, we'll. I think there was a question in the chat about why people leave. Did that get answered in the engagement piece, or did you have something more specific that you wanted to hear? Oh, I see hands moving over there on the coastal region. I'm not sure if they're reaching for chocolate or if they're having a conversation about membership. So people leave for a lot of reasons, and we know that that's going to happen. People pass away, of course, and that certainly has an engagement dilemma. People move to a different community. People get jobs at different locations. They have children. They retire. There's a lot of reasons people leave, and we just need to accommodate that and build that into our plans so we can move forward with an intentional manner. And again, be gracious. Give them some grace when they leave. I had a gentleman tell me he saw Rotary as a chapter book. Some chapters, Rotary's super involved. In other chapters, he's got to step back and focus on selling some real estate because that's what he does for a living, and focus on family stuff because something's going on at home or whatever. The best we can hope for is third place. First should be family. Second should be your business, and third is Rotary or maybe church. So maybe we're even in fourth place, and we need to be respectful of that for all of our members.
So, John, one of the questions in the chat is they'd like to hear more about engaging family members in projects. Yeah. And typically this is, looking at projects from a standpoint of, A, would your spouse want to do it? And B, could your children or grandchildren participate? And, sometimes these are projects like, outdoor cleanup projects or projects that have some sort of environmental impact. They can also be projects, I've seen throughout the Zone Pair a project where they are doing solar panels for Ukraine. And these are providing electricity to families that don't have it so they can charge their cell phones so they know when there's going to be an attack on their community. That the only way they get these alerts sometimes is cell phones, and they don't have power to their homes. So they're bringing people together in school gymnasiums. They bring in the solar panels, they outfit them, the kids decorate them with words of hope and drawings, and then they pack them up and send them out. And this involves whole families and whole communities in this type of service project. So you can really think outside of the box. It doesn't have to be drilling wells, and it doesn't have to be writing checks. It can be hands-on things that 0 to 99 could get involved in.
We do have some Slido comments here we can scroll through.
Okay. Can you see those, John?
I can see them, yeah. I can see 3, yep.
I'll spotlight the green ones there for you.
So how do you combat seriously low survey return? I had that happen actually. I recommended a survey for a group, and they didn't get a very good response. So what I suggested is they wanted to do the club health check. I suggested that the president just ask for a show of hands at the next meeting and just kind of work through those questions over time and log the results. So be creative, be innovative. And you know, the other question is why aren't they responding? So make sure if you ask the question that you do something with response, report the results back, make changes if need be, and adjust. But you know, be innovative. If you're not getting a response through the normal method, just ask for a show of hands and kind of work through those questions a little more covertly, I guess. Corey, on this one?
I just see some comments. You need to be on
Ask about
Instagram.
how do you organize a service club meetup to get others interested in your service? I don't have a lot of experience with Meetup, but do you, Corey?
You know, I haven't used Meetup a lot, but I have seen it. And I've also seen, you know, up in our district, the service clubs actually meet on a monthly basis. They do this at a venue and they discuss their projects, they discuss needs in the community, they do their community assessments as a group in Pierce County, Washington. And honestly, I would encourage that. I think it's a great idea that all these service groups get together, they're like-minded. For one thing, they find out where there's areas of overlap, but they also find out where there's gaps in the community. And there are a lot less animosity between the groups because they're working together on a regular basis.
Yeah, good. And on the next question, is there a Healthy Club survey available online? So there absolutely is. As part of that, the attrition and attraction data on the membership action plan website that's available through both Club Runner and DACDB, there's a survey component within that you can send out to your club pretty quickly, and you can customize it and get results as quick as they respond. And you can always do something on SurveyMonkey if you wanted to do something a little more club specific that's not part of that overall process.
Yeah. So Jane has a question here. How do you, oh, went away. It basically was, how do you encourage members to do more than just write checks? And I really think that is part of that value alignment piece. When you're bringing somebody into your club, knowing whether or not, you know, they may only want to write checks, and that is the time they have to give, the ability they have to give. That may not be a good fit for your club, or it may. And so having that value alignment up front, knowing why they're joining Rotary, why they're interested in Rotary, how they're willing to give back is really important in making sure there's a good fit. So there isn't an expectation that somebody's going to be willing to do something that they just aren't going to be willing to do.
Yeah. And I agree with Michael here. The best way to attract younger members is to have somebody else there. That's that stickiness factor that we were just speaking about a few minutes ago. I agree with that 100%.
All right.
All right. I think that concludes it, Corey. Is that correct?
Yeah, if there are not any more questions, that is it for us.
Diane, I've sent you that email that you requested.
Thank you for letting us present to you today. We're so happy to share. And John and I are available for any questions and further presentations if your club needs something, or if you just have questions about membership that you need some feedback on.
Thank you, John and Corey, for your presentation. And thank you to all of you in the pods for an active and engaging conversation. We look forward to continuing with the Rotary Foundation discussion coming up next after this break. Thank you.
We'll see you later, Corey.
For each of us, there are moments that define us. Moments where we fought for what we believed.
The moment Berliners have waited 28 years for.
When we pushed the boundaries to the unknown. Moments that remind us of a past we cannot accept, and that create within us the desire to take a stand and do something. 30 years ago, polio was claiming the lives of hundreds of thousands of children just like me. There was a vaccine that could help stop it, but it wasn't reaching all of us. Until you decided to step in and do something. You decided to find a way to reach us all, no matter where in the world we might be. It all started with one small project, and 6 million children were saved from polio, forever. The world took notice, and things began to change. On streets, on trains, planes, boats and bicycles. Over deserts and rivers, mountains and valleys, through jungles and war zones, you never stopped. But it can't end here. We are this close, the closest that we've ever been. 3 countries remain, and we must continue to strive to reach every last child. Because every life truly does matter. And together, you have proved that when you put service above self, the world can be a much better place.
Since 1985, Rotary has been the foundation on which the polio eradication program is built.
Last year, we saw just 37 cases, the lowest number in history.
Thanks to your efforts, more than 16 million people are walking today who would otherwise have been paralyzed.
Thanks to your vision, humanity is on the verge of one of the greatest public health achievements in history.
While our work is not yet done, the remarkable dream that you had 3 decades ago to tackle one of the world's greatest public health challenges, the end of polio, is nearly a reality.
Thanks to you, we truly are this close to ending polio.
Thanks to you, we are truly this close to ending polio.
Good morning. I'm Renee Campbell from the Rotary Club of Salem and your District Rotary Foundation Chair. We're going to talk about the Rotary Foundation in this session. In the first session, Corey and John talked about some real strategies that we can use to calculate the work that we need to do to grow our clubs. But why should someone join Rotary? Why should we grow Rotary? Why should they join your club? Why should they join my club? Are we attractive? Are we engaging? Are we fun? Are we relevant to our communities? Corey and John talked a little bit about how dynamic, relevant service is part of being a vibrant club. So why is the Rotary Foundation part of that proverbial 3-legged stool that a vibrant club sits on? So let's talk about that for a little bit. And although this is not meant to be an in-depth training on the Rotary Foundation, a little bit of history or background and basic understanding and a refresher on how the foundation works will be helpful as we talk about the projects that are funded by the foundation. So your first Slido question is, what does vibrant mean for your club? Let's see your 1-word, 2-word, 3-word answers and see what vibrant means. I have to remember to do it. Okay, we're seeing some good adjectives as to what a club might look like that's vibrant. Healthy, glowing, diverse, engaged, serving, ongoing, goal-oriented, growing, rewarding, action, inviting, and of course in the middle, engaged. Engaged. Engaging, alive. Fun is coming right up there too. Our service projects are a lot more fun and our meetings are a lot more fun when we're fun, right? To be attractive to our members and to our prospective members, we need to be alive and functioning in our mission of service above self and doing good in the world. We have a vision of changing the world for the better, and that includes us as we work together as Rotarians and friends, growing and serving the world together, living out the Rotary motto of service above self and doing good in the world, and doing things that we can't do maybe necessarily all by ourselves. The Rotary Foundation, lovingly acronymed TRF, is the financial engine that fuels so many of our projects. And the Rotary Foundation is us. It's our foundation. We do have some staff, but every aspect and every decision-making area has people just like you and just like me, volunteers who are making sure that we are stewarding our donations well. We're very fortunate to have one of the most respected and trusted foundations in the world. We're recognized by numerous rating agencies with the highest marks for transparency, accountability, and the amount of money that actually goes to the projects. This is a big deal, and we can be very proud of that. And it's a story worth telling to our members and to our communities and to the world. Every member is asked to contribute something to the Rotary Foundation every year. We cleverly call that Every Rotarian Every Year, or ERAY, another acronym. Gifts of $25 to $50 a year contribute over $5 million to the Rotary Foundation. A sustaining member contributes $100 every year. When I think about that, I think it's probably about $8.50 a month. And when I compare that to what do I spend on my specialty coffee drinks or my favorite streaming services, it doesn't seem like very much. But we have many generous and committed Rotarians in our district who are able to do more. Many of us started small and were able to give as our ability increased, or we're just plain consistent over time. And these are the numbers as of June 30th. Our district led the world for many years as #1 in Rotary Direct. That's our monthly recurring automatic giving. And we are now at 550 members. We're still #1 per capita in the world, but we lost that #1 in the world spot a couple of years ago. We could get that back. Those who have donated $1,000 are called Paul Harris Fellows after the founder of Rotary. Those who have pledged $1,000 every year are called Paul Harris Society members. You'll see we have 211 of those and 39 more who are eligible. That just means those 39 people are actually making that gift. They just haven't joined the society. I can tell you how to do that. And those Paul Harris Society members account for 21% of all of the annual fund donations to the Rotary Foundation. We have major donors at various levels and 8 Arch Clump Society members who have given over $250,000 to the Rotary Foundation. Benefactors and Bequest Society are those who have indicated a legacy gift to Rotary. Those who are Paul Harris Society members, major donors, and Bequest Society are given the recognition of Triple Crown donors. You'll see that one's in red. This report is a little bit harder to compile, so that is last year's number. I know we have more this year. But this is all part of our story worth telling to motivate and inspire our members to participate in giving. So this is what happens to those donations. The funds we donate are invested for 3 years, and the interest on that investment pays almost all of the administrative costs of the foundation. And this is unique, leaving more money and donated dollars available to be used on projects. But for every dollar we donate, almost half of it comes back to us after 3 years into the district in what we call District Designated Funds, or DDF, another acronym. And the other half goes into the World Fund. So we divide our half again, and we make half of it available for district grants. And these are grants that match club dollars up to $2,500 and can be used for either local or international projects. And this year we have $123,000 available for district grants, and that grant application process is open now. Our other half is reserved for global grant matching funds, and these are international projects with a minimum value of $30,000. They must be in one of our 7 areas of focus, and they have other stewardship, sustainability, and accountability requirements. But then that district portion, I should say we got I forgot to change something. That should be 123 in the lower right. And then in the middle, 325,000 available for district grants. We have 123,000 plus some rollover from some previous years. So that is available for your global grant projects. So the global grants, the money that you get from DDF, is also eligible for an additional match from that World Fund of 80%. So that money that is left in the World Fund, that we get back even more because it matches those global grants. It goes for Peace Scholars, Polio Plus, and our global grant scholars as well. So kind of makes me wonder, what other donations do I make to foundations or other organizations that give me money back to do the projects that are important to me? So your next Slido question, just a yes or no. Does your club participate in global grants or not? I should say district or global grants, either one. Just a few who are not participating. We're going to talk about that here in just a minute. A lot of clubs participating in both. Great. Not every club does apply for DDF for their projects. And I don't completely understand why a club wouldn't apply for free money to extend the value of their projects. Okay? Slowing down there, huh? Okay. So if your club has an average of $100 or more per capita giving to the Rotary Foundation every year, you are eligible for a dollar for dollar match for the money that you have raised for your project. But even if your club does not meet that $100 per capita threshold to the Rotary Foundation, you are still eligible to get 50 cents on every dollar to match your district grant project. And that's over a 2-year average. So you might have more donations one year, less the next, but as long as you are at that $100 average, you are eligible for that one-to-one match. Our district is very active in both district and global grants, as we saw there on the Slido. Multiple clubs must collaborate on both funds and involvement in a global grant. And this slide shows how a global grant is normally funded. Let's say your group of 5 clubs has raised $20,000 for a global grant. That DDF is going to match you $20,000, and the World Fund 80% is going to match you at $16,000, so you have a $56,000 project. However, right now we have a little bit of extra money and we want to spend it. So between now and the end of this Rotary year, you've raised that $20,000. The DDF, district designated funds, are going to match you $30,000. And then the World Fund is going to match the DDF at $24,000. So now you have a $74,000 project. So there's a lot of value there. If you have a global grant idea, let's get that thing rolling. Last year we completed 91 district grants for, and 6 new global grants were approved. We had 10 global grants in process or completed, and we had a global grant scholar in Edinburgh, Scotland. We made contributions to Polio Plus and the Peace Centers with the grand total of project value that includes the club funds, the DDF, and the World Fund match for over $2.3 million in project value from our district. That is a big deal. And 88% of our clubs were participating either in a district or a global grant. That's a lot of value. These projects represent changed lives, even saved lives, and opportunities for communities and individuals to prosper and thrive. But even if you were among those few clubs who didn't apply for a grant, with your individual contributions to the Rotary Foundation, these projects that we just tallied, they're yours. You own them. You're part of them. As a matter of fact, every project in the world, you participated in that. And you can say, that's my project. I did that. It's a big deal. All of this makes me very proud to be a donor to the Rotary Foundation, and I hope it does you too. If you are not yet, or you want to step up, there are several ways to do that. The easiest way is to go online at rotary.org. Every page has a donate button. Every page has a donate button, so you cannot miss it. Sign up for Rotary Direct there as a recurring donation. It can be monthly, quarterly, annually. But if you're more of an analog person, talk to your TRF chair in your club, and they would be happy to help you make the donation that you would like to give. And if you would like a deeper dive on anything from giving to grants to polio, these people that you will find on our district website are there to help you. So if you are a vibrant club, what makes you think so? What is it that you're doing that keeps your members active? You know, I think first, we have to be the place that our members want to be. And we want to be the magnet that draws people in, people like us. So here is your first breakout. And there's a lot on that. We're going to leave it up here. Please do not feel like you need to answer all 6 of these questions. At a training that I once attended, past District Governor John Bushnell from District 5110, just south of us, told us, if you have a membership problem, do more service. Let that sink in for a minute. Do more service. This is key to being attractive, engaging, and vibrant. I just gave you an overview of both the project side and the giving side of the Rotary Foundation, but the only purpose of the giving side is to fund our projects. So let's look at the projects that we're doing or our potential projects in our first breakout. And as I said, don't try to do them all. Pick out one or two that rise to the top in your pod, and we will come back in 8 minutes, and we will report out on those. We're going to look at what was your favorite project and why. Do you have a signature project that your community loves? Pretend you're a brand new club, and how are you going to decide what to do in your community? Or pretend that you are a well-established club, but you need a refresh. How are you going to get your members excited again? How will you, or how do you, engage your community? Do they ever come to you and ask you about doing a project? And then, very important, how do you evaluate the success of your projects? Did we accomplish what we set out to do? We'll see you in 8 minutes. Welcome back. We have about 8 minutes to report out, and so we won't be able to hear from all of the pods. So when you volunteer to report, would you choose one of those questions to report on and give us about a minute so we have more time for others to report as well? So is there someone who is ready to take one of these questions and let us know what was your pod's discussion about this?
Raise their hand in the Zoom.
Please raise your hand in the Zoom. Anyone? I will encourage you, if you have a scribe in your pod, to share your best ideas.
Clark County wants something, but they're muted.
Okay. Share your ideas in the Zoom chat that we can share with everyone. Or if you have individual questions, put those in the Slido chat.
Clark County wants to speak.
Hey, Clark County, we want to hear you.
Okay. Can you hear me okay?
We can.
Awesome. So with Camas Washougal Rotary, we participate in what's called Refuel Washougal. We feed the Washougal and Camas community and the low-income families and the homelessness 4 times a year. We do receive district grants for that because we are in charge of the food, the prep, the paper plates and napkins and so forth, and the to-go containers. We feed anywhere between 75 to 100 folks, and that includes kids, teens, seniors, and so forth. So it's open to the entire Washougal community, and one of our favorite projects to do, and we get a lot of Rotarian engagement, including spouses and kids, to volunteer with us too within our Rotary group.
Do you get some community people to help with that as well?
No, you know, it's one of those service projects that we have no problem getting enough volunteers for within our own.
Good, good, very engaging. Who do we have now? Region 7.
Region 7, this is Jana Cole. I'm with the Downtown Portland Rotary Club. And what we found out in sharing our projects was that there are many that we do amongst our own Rotary clubs, but we liked the idea of looking at Rotary as a community, and the thing that got us jazzed was talking about things that we could do together as clubs. So we talked about some of the larger projects that we've done, things like work for, helping with Habitat for Humanity, or even a larger fundraising project where we might build out something for a local nonprofit that helps their community. But figuring out a way to pull something together where multiple clubs can come together in fellowship and in service and be able to do something amazing for our broader community. So I think this conversation just inspired something new to happen.
That's a great idea. You can have a lot more impact, and you're right about the fellowship, getting to know other Rotarians as well. Do we have someone else? Lake Oswego.
Okay, let's see. Am I unmuted? Okay. Lloyd Hill from the Lake Oswego Club is going to talk about a favorite project.
Okay.
Hi, my name's Lloyd. I'm chair for Lake Oswego Rotary's International Humanitarian Service Projects, and we're very proud of a global grant project which we've just recently completed, which is now moving on to the 2nd and 3rd year. The project is something that supports adolescent girls. We've kind of focused on supporting adolescent girls in our humanitarian service work. We refer to this as SAGE, or Support for Adolescent Girl Empowerment. This project is in Guatemala, and it's supporting indigenous Mayan girls at a school. We call the project Flourish, and it's a 1-year support for girls that are just moving from high school to go on to university or to out into the working world. And this was a global grant, which we partnered with over 30 clubs in District 5100, plus another 6 or 7 clubs in Colorado and California and other parts of the world. And a local club down in Guatemala was a partner with us. And so we'll be reaching out to the partner clubs here and making presentations on the success of the project. The girls, most of the girls passed the college entrance exam. Over half of them are going to university. There's several girls that are attending university in the US and Canada on full ride scholarships. And I think over half the girls have jobs in the formal economy now. None of them have gotten married and had kids, which is very unusual in this circumstance. So I think we feel this has been a very big success, and we're very excited to share this with the other partners clubs in District 5100.
Thanks.
Thank you, Lloyd. I'm very familiar with this project, and one of the questions that came into the Slido was, can we collaborate with other clubs in other districts or other districts on our projects? The answer is absolutely yes, and that's a great example of that. Do we have any more time, Brandon? Okay, we're about done then. Okay, so now that we have these great projects and we're feeling all vibrant and relevant, let's go on to our second task. So can I just ask a question? Whoops, I went too far. Brandon, this is looking very fuzzy on my screen. Is it looking fuzzy on the other people's screens? Okay, good. So this is on the giving side then. How can we use these projects, these successes, to encourage giving to the Rotary Foundation? How do we share those stories with our members, with our communities, with our prospective members? And we just heard about some clubs wanting to collaborate. Would our members benefit from hearing from other clubs and their projects and vice versa? And then who are your dedicated donors, and will they tell you why? Would they give you a Rotary moment as to why they are donors? And then this last one that's in bold, do you have a donor recognition event or events? How do you recognize your donors? And how can you use these events to encourage other donors as well? On this one, we won't have time to report out, but please share your best ideas on the Zoom chat or any questions that you have. We're going to begin for minutes. Welcome back. And I heard some really good discussion in the virtual pod, so I hope that you all had some good discussion and shared some ideas between your clubs of some things that you can do to let those donors know how much you appreciate them for their giving to the Rotary Foundation. We have one more Slido question. What is the one thing that you will do this year to promote giving to the Rotary Foundation in your club? Low-grade coercion. I see. The chocolate and the wine might work better than that. Foundation Day. I like that. What the foundation does. Tell those stories. Let people know how it works. Can't read this fast. This is great. Bribe them. We just heard about bribing them with flowers. Ice cream social. Have Renee do what? I'd love to. Sign me up.
I like the word cloud better. It's a lot.
Yeah.
There's Renee.
Okay. Anonymous. I don't know who you are, so I can't call you back.
Donor dinner?
Donor dinner is good. Forest Grove, did you put yours in there? You have that wonderful crab feed and do your presentation of pins. Can we save these?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Here's keywords up here.
All right. So this workshop is designed to explore how membership, the Rotary Foundation, and public image all work together to grow Rotary. So now we're back to our first question. Why do we want to grow Rotary? Why do we want more members in our clubs? Well, we want more help in doing those valuable things that we are doing in our communities and around the world. We won't attract everyone. We won't engage everyone. We will still lose some people, but those who are looking for purpose, for something valuable to do with their time, and who recognize a good return on the investment of their time, people like you, people like me, they will hear our story. And the Rotary Foundation is a very strong leg of that stool that holds up a club worth joining and a club worth staying in. Thank you for your time this morning on a Saturday morning. And we're going to take another break, and we will be back with Brandon Peterson for Public Image. Bye-bye.
Yeah, we just helped some kids on a field trip and helped them put together a backpack project. And it was a lot of fun, very fulfilling.
Oh, that's great. Sally!
Guys, I just can't believe how much good stuff you're doing in the community. I mean, it's just great to hear all your stories. I'm just surprised I haven't seen any of your posts on Facebook.
God, Facebook? Who's got time for that? It's a massive time suck. And besides, it's just teenage girls with selfies and duck lips.
Well, I guess. I guess I can just go to your website and find out what you're doing there, right?
Website? Website. We haven't updated the website since 1997.
In the end, it was a lot of hard work, but just not enough help.
You can say that again. I can't imagine the last time we got anybody involved in a project like this.
Well, Bill, when are you going to join this fine club and help us with our projects?
Oh, hey, Julie, how are you today?
I'm good, how are you?
Great, oh, thanks. Your Rotary pin. I've seen you wear that all the time, but I don't know what Rotary is. Can you tell me a little bit about it?
Sure. Well, it's kind of like a club. We get together once a week and we have lunch. Some clubs have dinner. So we meet for lunch and it's, the food's okay. It's not that great. Well, sometimes it is. And, it's about 36,000 members, I think. No, 36,000 clubs, that's what it is.
Okay.
1.2 million members.
Gotcha, okay.
So yeah, 1.2 million members, and I think, what else? We hang out a lot.
Yeah.
And we have, we get together and help the community a little bit.
A little bit, okay.
It's been around for a long time. I think it was started in Chicago by this guy named Paul Harris? Paul Harris? Yeah, Paul Harris.
Oh, okay.
And
great.
I don't know, that's about it.
That's
yeah,
great.
it's a good time. That's it. That's all Rotary is. See ya. I gotta get back to work. Julie, is that order ready?
Welcome back. So our next session here will be on public image, and I want to do an introduction for myself and for Brandon Peterson. Brandon Peterson is our public image chair, and he'll be up here shortly. He's the guy making all the magic in this room happen here today. I'm Renee Fontenot. I'm a member of the public image chair. So I'll do the first part, and then Brandon will move in and do the second part. So let's first start about your story, right? And really an elevator pitch. An elevator pitch is what that woman in the last little part of that video was sort of kind of giving, but did you want to join her club? No, none of us did, right? She didn't even look like she was all that interested in her club, right? So an elevator pitch, and there's lots of definitions, but essentially it's the idea that if you stepped into an elevator and there was an opportunity to talk to somebody about Rotary, what would you say to them before the doors opened, and hopefully they'd turn around and they'd say, so tell me more, or how can I learn more? Okay. For the purposes of this exercise, and to get you started, we want you to think about that 1 or 2 sentences, right? Roughly 20 to 35 total words that you might tell somebody as that icebreaker, as that conversation starter that would attract perhaps a potential new member, maybe a community project partner, maybe it's your next speaker. It's a student, it's a donor, it's a sponsor, somebody who might help you with your fundraiser. Maybe it's a community organization. There's lots of different people who could be in your audience. And for each of those, you're going to need to think about what's important to them. What is it that they want to know? What is it that they need to know? And what's your story that's going to make it interesting? Having 36,000 clubs in the world is not the starting point, right? It's something more personal. Right? We earlier in membership talked about how your personal reason why you joined, what was your first experience in joining Rotary? So think back maybe to that moment or something that has helped you to stay in. An elevator pitch, in short, will answer, why should the listener be listening to you? What's of interest to them? What's that unique thing or that valued thing that you're offering that let's say another service organization or something else that they might be doing with their time, you could better interest them. Think about what it is that Rotarians do that exemplifies that unique or valued element. And then you might think about who are Rotarians, because that's not what you lead with, right? Most importantly, turn into everybody's favorite radio station, WIFM. What's in it for me, where me is your audience, right? So I want you to take 60 seconds. We're not going to go into a breakout room. We're just going to take 60 seconds and you personally think about what your starting of a conversation could be. What's the start of your elevator pitch? And then I want you to, and you might write it down, right, so that you have some things. And I want you to pick out the 1 or 2 key words. What are the most important words? Those ones that are going to attract the interest. And I want you to put them into Slido. And we're going to come back. And we're going to have roughly a minute to do this. So not much time. And they'll be able to see that. Are they seeing? Let's call that good. Okay, am I back on? Thank you for participating here. And what we see on that Slido are some keywords that came up: fellowship, service, community, community service, related, right? Make a difference, connection. So a few things that not in those few: fellowship, service, and community. Now what I'm going to do, and those of you who are virtually participating, you'll go into your virtual room and you have 2 new hosts there, so welcome them when you get in there. I want you to turn to a person next to you if you're in a live pod, and I want the 2 of you to think about the pitch that you just created, and I want you now to remove the words Rotary, service, and fellowship. Those cannot be your keywords. So compare and share what you have, remove Rotary, service, fellowship, and tell us then in yet another Slido what the most important words are if you're not using those words. So we're going to give you 2 minutes to do this roughly. Welcome back. So as you see from our Slido responses, we have a few more words that have more prominence this time. Leadership, connection, community, support, purpose, action, right? Earlier I saw local was on here too. It's still on here somewhere. Those are the things that are going to attract somebody initially, right? It's not important what Rotary is unless they know what Rotary does and how we do it. How are we visible? So we are people of action in our local communities. We are leaders that provide leadership in our local communities. We're a source for education and fun. How many of you do the 5-way test, right? Is it fun? Some of you do, I know. So those are the words that you want to make sure that you're including before you start out with the facts about what is Rotary. Because I can't even say the word right now, but Rotary is less important to somebody who doesn't know who we are yet, right? So Rotary itself is secondary. It's what we do. It's how we're recognized by our actions and by the things that we contribute in our local community to help those in our local community. Your elevator pitch should be something that is flexible, that's adaptable, so that as you're talking to different audiences, you have those keywords, but know how to use them so that you're reaching that audience. And of course, the one thing that a lot of clubs do is that have business cards that invite them to your meeting, to your lunch, and always have one to hand to somebody. It's a good way to get started. If you want to do more on terms of an elevator pitch, I'm happy to come to your club and do a program on elevator pitches that your club can use as a group. I'm now going to pass it over to Brandon, and he's going to start with a quiz. So first we're going to go to Slido and we're going to do a little quiz, and then he'll be up here next. Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to try something a little different because I have to both control the computer and run the quiz. So please join up to the quiz real quick and we'll get started. This will just be some general knowledge about Rotary, our brand, and what resources we have. So let's get a good group going. Okay, we're going to go ahead and start the quiz here. I think we got 50, oh, we'll get a few more in here. All right, we're going to compete against each other here. Okay, when did District 5100 update their website? You got 10 seconds to lock in this answer. 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, so it looks like most of you got it right. We did just update our website this year, so things are going great. Actually, I think I forgot to update this quiz. I think we had a duplicated answer there. Okay. Next question here is, what does DAC-DB stand for? Five more seconds. All right, so a couple of people out there did put the dogs and cats doing business, but district and club database is correct. Next question here. What are the available resources on Rotary.org? As we wrap up here, I did forget to update this. We did a run through last night. Service snapshot is not correct, but there is a service portal or a club project portal on there. So we could have made that a correct answer, but we'll talk about what the Expert Hub is here. But district grants are on DACDB, not on My Rotary. And let's take a look here of our leaderboard. Suzanne's killing it. And then where can you get your, where can you create your club's logo? Looks like most of you got this one correct here. It is on the Rotary Brand Center. There is a way to create your club's logo to comply with the correct branding. And just a branding question here is, when did Rotary update their logo to this current Rotary with the master brand symbol? It looks like quite a few of you got it right here initially. Now it's kind of waning. The correct answer on that was 2016. We're now 8 years in of this logo being the primary logo. The one with the blue outline and the lighter yellow is incorrect. All right, so let's finish the quiz up there. Give me a second to kind of reposition. Okay, here we are. This is a little bit weird because I have to be over there. So I'm Brandon Peterson, Rotary Club of Tiger Breakfast. I am the Public Image Chair for District 5100. We've been doing some exciting things this year to update the Public Image Committee to better help our clubs and committees within our district. Been pretty busy in the first 3 months of this Rotary year, and we got a lot of planned for the rest of the Rotary year coming. So what's new? The biggest change you've seen since July is we have updated the district website. We still do have the website domain is rotary4u.com. If you use that currently, it will redirect to the new website. One of the next changes will be changing is Rotary for You to go directly to a pro membership landing page rather than the district website. So our new primary URL is rotarydistrict5100.org, but you can still access pro membership materials and club resources. It has a new, clean, fresh look, and we are using new pictures from our clubs on the website, so that's exciting. One of the big things that we do have on the website that is still a work in progress, so some things are not working, but we are building it out, is the club resource page. I think I did just update it, but you can go up to the top of the navigation bar and find club resources or member resources. There's a quick links at the top that'll take you to 3 different sections. The first one we have is district resources. That'll have the resource library where you can actually check out some of the great equipment, banners, and material we have here in the district office to use for your events. We have pop-ups, we have cameras, we have lights, we have all the equipment you might need for your club to help expand your public image out in the community. We also have the event landing page listed on the district website for district, regional, and zone events. So please check that out. And currently right now I'm working on the committees page so you can find out who's leading committees, what committees we have, and also an interest form on how to join the district committees. The second section is a learn and grow section. These are links to resources that we have available through Rotary. It'll take you to My Rotary, the Brand Center, the Learning Center, which is an interactive learning hub that can do everything from Rotary basics into the specific roles of leadership in your club. We also have a new exciting thing here called the Expert Hub that is being championed by Jim Boyle here in our district along with others in Zone 26 and 27. That's available on the Zone 26-27 website, and I'll show that here in the next slide. And then we also have links to our other programs here in the district, including RILA and the Youth Exchange that do maintain their own website. So it should be the one-stop shop to link you to resources both in our district, in Rotary International, and in the zone. If you have any changes or suggestions on the website, you can email your request to feedback@rotarydistrict5100.org. I also put a yellow button in the bottom of the webpage just below that Magic of Rotary button, which is right there. I can point to it. The Zone 26 and 27 Expert Hub is a landing page where you can find experts in our zone. Our zone runs the entire west coast of the United States through California. I think it goes all the way over to Utah and into, I think, New Mexico. There are people that can help you with public image, membership, the Rotary Foundation, End Polio Now, club and district administration. If you have issues with DACDB, and there's people on there to help you with that, youth programs, and other specialists. So these right over here are all the icons you can click on and find an expert even outside of our own district that might be able to help you out with those bigger tasks that you want to take on. If you want to get help with your public image, we have a single email address for the Public Image Committee. You can send me your pictures of your clubs doing amazing projects that we can now incorporate into promotional material online, putting on posts online and on social media. You can share the projects and outcomes you have so we can share those out. If you are developing a flyer, a brochure, or have some sort of new branding material that you just want to make sure looks correct, send me the proof and we'll take a look to make sure that you're using the proper branding colors and things look good. And then if you need any assistance that you just can't figure out the brand center, you can't figure out my Rotary, and you just want some help getting the correct logo, just send an email to publicimage@rotarydistrict5100.org. So what's next in this coming year with all these changes? The big exciting thing we have is we were awarded a public image grant from the zone. So we do have a matching grant for public image to promote District 5100 to the general public here. So we are going to take the Is Rotary for You campaign, reimagine it, rebrand it, and relaunch it as a pro-membership opportunity in our district. And we're going to start putting out paid advertisements online and on social media. There's one that went out this week for the Connect Rotary event, which I'll talk about here in a second, but you will start seeing some pro-membership things going out to the public, and your club should be prepared to start receiving some inquiries, emails, and interest in your clubs. We're also working on establishing a way to do district-wide press releases where you can send in your information about the great things you do, and we will help put that into a news story that we can then share out for that good publicity. We do have an exciting opportunity coming up here very shortly that I wanted to point out, and I'm going to make this full screen, so give me a second. We have the Connect with Rotary event. This is happening in 4 key locations across our district here in the coming week through October 7th to October 10th. This is an opportunity for people who are curious about Rotary, interested in Rotary, or just people that want to learn more about what our clubs do and what Rotary is to come have a social. There is a small fee, but the food and some drink tickets are included, so it is a great value. We're just trying to get some people to come in the door so we can sit down and talk with them about our clubs and what we do. And this is being hosted by Rotary International. We have Angela, who works for RI, who does the membership for our zone, coming in for these events. The first one will be in Vancouver, Washington on October 7th. These are all from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. in the evening. The second one is October 8th over in Beaverton. October 9th, they're heading out to the Dalles, so that's a great location to drum up some stuff along the gorge, and then down to Salem on October 10th. Initially, we had pitched this to the clubs to have Rotarians, certain Rotarians attend, but at this point, we are open to having more Rotarians come and join this and bring guests with you. So if you want to bring somebody, please sign up and register. You can sign up on Eventbrite, and the landing page for that is connect.district5100.org, or you can go to the district website, rotarydistrict5100.org, and on the events page, you can find it there. So please write this down, please share it, because this is a great opportunity to use the things we've learned today and share those out to get some membership into our clubs. All right, I'm back. So this has been a great opportunity for public image, the Rotary Foundation, and membership to come together. As you can see, we're trying to unite on a front here where it's membership, membership, membership. We need to get more people interested in our clubs. We need to get the good word about all the great things that we do out into the public, and we need to make sure that we're having a unified message as we share that into our communities. So people recognize what Rotary is, but we need to start sharing what we do and how they can be a part of it. This has been a great opportunity to come together. We just had some closing things, and I'm going to stare at Gary to make sure I get them all right. Because now I've gone through my spiel. Come up here, right here. We'll just do it. There you go.
Thanks, Brandon. The key pieces are that we want to be able to let you know that we appreciate your time, we appreciate your commitment to making your club better and more vibrant, so that working together we can accomplish a lot more in Rotary. Also, to let you know that we will be sending out within the next 2 weeks a report that includes all of the feedback that you provided through Zoom and through Slido. And we will also include the PowerPoint presentations that have been used today, and there will be an edited version of this entire event so that you could actually share it with other members of your club coming forward, and that will be available on the YouTube page for the district, but we will be sending you all of the links. We want you to have a great day and go off and make your club vibrant, but make sure that you are listening to the folks that you're working with, meet their needs. We can work on that retention rate issue, because the more we can gather together, the more we can make a real difference in our communities. Thank you.
There's something to our collective energy. When we gather each year, everyone belongs to something bigger than themselves. It is magnetic. It is moving. It is magic. We share friendship, experiences, and new perspectives, awakening inspiration, unleashing possibility in ourselves, our communities, and around the world. It's a phenomenon like no other. Join us in Calgary for the 2025 Rotary International Convention and discover magic all around.
We do have a final Slido up here for you. So some good feedback on the Vibrant Club workshop. Please take time to fill that out, and then keep an eye on your emails for that summary of all the good questions and slides that we had here this session. And then the video will be coming out here both on YouTube and through email.